John here from the Healthy Legends community. I'm so excited. We are so blessed, and I am so excited to have another special guest share with us incredible information, knowledge, and experience. I want to reintroduce this wonderful person, this special guest who's been on our show not too long ago, Dr. Kwan Yu from Singapore. He is back tonight to speak about such an incredible subject, which he actually has so much experience in healing, healing people who have chronic pain and sufferings. We're going to get straight into that. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in around the world. Dr. Kwan Yu, thank you so much for coming back. This is awesome. So excited. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you for having me the second round. That means I did something right, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, yes. And I hope I had some part to do with that as well.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
The
Thank you for
energy is
having me.
flowing so nicely here. I'm just so happy to do this once again because we received so many comments, so many great views from when you were on the first time, and it's creating so much awareness. So here we are. Here we are. Yeah, high five. Where would you want to start? Let's
Oh,
do this.
I've been having my head down, doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, preparing for the upcoming workshop next week, which is about reclaiming your health from physical pain, brain fog, and loops that drain your energy. And it's for people
Hmm.
who are looking for answers, people who are sick of superficial solutions that do not give a lasting effect, and wanting to get to the roots. That's where we're going to help you regain your health, your energy, and your focus so you get to achieve what you want. And we're going to talk about a portion of it and the methodologies that form part of that workshop during this session.
Is it okay
Yeah.
if I jump ahead just a little bit and say to everyone that I actually participated with Dr. Kwan Yu's workshop about a month ago,
Yes.
and I have nothing but amazing things to say. What an experience I had. I'm not going to go into details because I want to save that for the people because you always have these cool, interesting, and special things that you do as well, and the teachings are just phenomenal. I recommend it to anyone, really. It's the first time I really experienced something at that level. So I want to thank you for that incredible experience. And I'm a firm believer, Dr. Kwan Yu, that together we make a difference. That's why I love having you on the show because let's face it, we've all had challenges, right? And here we are sharing how we surpass those challenges. And one of the things I want to ask you before I forget, how is your elbow?
Oh, it's been about 11, 12 weeks since my fall and my fracture over my left elbow.
Okay.
It's a comminuted fracture, four main pieces with multiple mini pieces. So the recovery has been challenging. And also there's pain that is very interesting to deal with, and it adds on to the experience where I'm going to share today. For this arm, I had a lot of support in terms of supplementary nutrients that could help. I did energy work on my arm. There are people who did distant energy work for me. And I think all of that contributed to the healing process. And now one of the milestones that happiest is that there's been so much limitation over the use of my left arm. At the start, I couldn't touch my face, I couldn't comb my hair. There's so many limitations, but now I'm just so grateful that I can do a lot of stuff now,
Okay.
and that's one major celebration for me. And what I have to share over here is that the journey of recovery can be longer than can be long, but it's necessary for us to slow down, to
Okay.
recalibrate, to reintegrate, so that when we re-emerge, we go with even higher energy, even more positive momentum, and with more conviction about what we want to do during that phase of, it's a little bit like bringing the chrysalis into the state of metamorphosis, like a caterpillar to a butterfly. I would say that this is what I experienced.
Okay. Wow. That's amazing. That's
Yes.
amazing. Would you agree that this journey that you're on with holistic healing, energy work that you do contributed a lot more to your healing compared to, and I'm not saying this to speak negative about the medical industry, but what would you say helped you the most?
I would say it would be looking at the whole and then looking at the entirety, what contributes to well-being. And when you have a setback, in this case, it's a physical setback, right?
Yes.
Not only is there a physical issue, it comes with it emotional and mental things. So the mental aspect is, oh, I'm supposed to do so many things. Now I am restrained, physically restrained from doing all these things. How do you reconcile with yourself about that? And then when it comes to the emotions that come up, because there are things that you could not do, there are things that you promised that you could not fulfill, or there are interactions that go deep, and then in this vulnerability, long hidden issues between family members, there's a chance for it to resurface and to be addressed. And there's always a silver lining, right, behind the dark cloud. And I would say the silver lining here is that a lot of things that have been buried slowly came to the surface to be looked at, to be addressed, to be analyzed, and to be adapted and shifted towards better. Yeah. And how is that? Because if you have mental lots and emotional issues, it's gonna hold back your healing because your energies are spent elsewhere instead of taking care of yourself, instead of eating right, resting correctly. There's so many components you need to take care of. So being able to look at that with the previous experience that I have, I know that I cannot drop this ball in terms of my mental state. I cannot drop this ball in terms of my emotions. I need to take care, continue my spiritual practices, and all this add on to allow me to bounce back again and faster each time.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yes.
Applaud you for that.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Today, it is day in Singapore now. And last time we had this great episode, we spoke a lot about energy. I believe we spoke about a lot of meditation practices that you do and you teach, but you also spoke a lot about the super conscious mind. Am I
Mm,
remembering that correctly?
yes. Yes.
I just want to bring it up because I wanted to just tell you that was so powerful. Just listening to that segment, and it's been in the back of my mind. I had written it down. I go, I just want to bring it up and give a lot of credit to it because we spoke about a lot of amazing things during that episode. And this is a lot of the stuff. I'm assuming, not to give anything away, you're going to be also teaching in your workshop coming up, Dr. 𝐐𝐭₌. Is that some of the stuff
Yes.
you're going to be doing?
Yes, some stuff in there.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I was very blown away by the super conscious mind, the way you spoke about it, the way you taught about it. Fascinating stuff. A whole different level. A whole different level. Here tonight in this episode, we are going to be speaking about healing suffering and pain.
Mm, yes.
This is big.
Yeah, it's big. It's big.
This is big. I could definitely relate to it. I could
Yes.
relate to the pain part.
We
Uh,
all have that experience. Yes.
I definitely want to go deeper into it in this episode as much as we can, of course. And hopefully we can bring some clarity to a lot of the community members in the Healthy Legends community and every other community out there as well. Because I find, again, I'll start speaking for myself, like throughout my whole life, the emotional pain and the physical pain is just wow. We've all experienced it, like you mentioned, but I think at some point we don't recognize how big of an issue this really is. Would you agree
Mm.
or disagree with that?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely agree. And this topic about pain is so huge, and there's so much I want to share. But to share it in a really coherent, flowing matter way would be this is the challenging part, and I'm glad to have you with me to
Of course.
bounce. And I would say that emotional pain, the one you mentioned, is
Hmm.
that this is the one that gets buried. This is the one that goes underneath the carpets. And if there's too much things underneath the carpet, one day we'll trip over it, right? And we trip over it when there's a trigger and everything comes out unbidden. You don't know what's going on. You have no control over it, and then suddenly you destroy a relationship, or if perhaps it's a professional altercation which resulted in a bad result. So this pain, people get stuck in patterns and they don't realize it. They are in loops. And we're going to talk more about that. But we're going to start off probably with the physical one because this one is the tangible one, the one that they truly feel is
Yes.
easier for people to digest. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
definitely relate to that as well, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Um,
And I will start off by saying that a pain is a signal that something needs attention. Yeah. And for example, you're walking barefoot, you step onto a glass shard. Ow. Okay,
That hurts.
you have injury. It hurts. It hurts. And taking a few more steps, you made the shard go in deeper, and that's, oh, this is worse. Let me do something about it. Okay, when you're having that injury, the break at the skin. Okay, your nociceptors of the skin sends a signal so that you realize it. This comes with touching a hot kettle. You get a reflex. In this case, there is something happening to the body, and your mind, your brain wants you to take notice so that you can intervene. And should you not intervene, we can continue walking with that glass shut, but I don't think
Right.
it's going to be very enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like the example that you're giving. That makes
Yes.
sense.
And often this pain comes on acutely. It comes on our sudden because of a sudden mishap. Okay. And this is what we call acute pain. Acute pain. And I'm going to go a little bit into how does medicine address this pain? Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Yes.
The more we
Yeah.
could get out of you tonight, this would be great.
Yes, probably some medications that are familiar. Of course, the terms used over here in Asia and over there in the West might be slightly different. We call it Panadol here, Ufamor, and I think over there, I think it's called Tylenol. So this is the familiar one, over the counter,
Yes,
very easy to
yes.
get for very mild pain, maybe a mild headache. And when it gets worse, we use non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, aspirin, for example, Brufen, for example, and also Celebrex. These are some of the common names. Often at the first level, right, we'll use this PRN, pro re nata. What this means, the medical term is as when needed. When there's pain, you take it. When there's no pain, you
You know,
refrain from. Yeah,
okay.
why? It's because any medication in excess would be taxing to the body. Not to mention major organ damage or something, but then there is, for example, Panadol, and people do get liver failure from overdosing Panadol, those that are attempted suicide. So low doses are perfectly safe. But of course, we try to minimize where we can. NSAIDs, those that we call it COX-1, COX-2 inhibitors, taken long-term or taken in high doses, they have potential to damage the kidneys. So this is what people are very cautious about. They try to avoid. And at the first level, we use it as when needed. And then there's a second level, we start to introduce weak opioids. For example, tramadol, and dihydrocodeine, for example. These are adjunct, these are the second tier. And if this doesn't cut it, and also this medication will induce nausea, can induce constipation. And that's why I personally cannot take tramadol because I hate the side effects. And if this level doesn't cut it, then we go to the next level. We're going to use some strong opioids such as morphine, okay,
Wow.
oxycodone. And then in addition to nausea and constipation, morphine has the odd effect of causing itch. Yeah, because it stimulates the histamine receptors. And let's say a person who is post-surgery and the pain is severe, it comes in, we call it a PCA, a patient-controlled applicator, where they can press a button and the morphine will get injected into the body. It's like on demand, and then you press
Wow.
it gets infused into the body. And then even stronger ones like epidural, fentanyl patches, this all come in, and we go with adjuncts. Adjuncts are like, some of them are nerve modulators, and some of these names may be familiar or foreign, or they may be different, but it will be things like amitriptyline, pregabalin, and then gabapentin. This, because some of our pain, right, we have pressures, receptors, we have nerve type of pain, we have different nature of pain, sometimes takes a sort of a different alternative modality to placate or ameliorate it. So there's some adjuncts we can use. And sometimes we use muscle relaxants. Component may be familiar, it's called orphanadrine. It's for those muscular aches, you want the muscle to relax. Yeah, and then we add on this. So this is the standard of like how we approach acute pain. Okay, for the adjuncts that I just mentioned, I hope this is not too much, but
Yeah, no, it's fine.
yeah,
Interesting.
the adjuncts, the one of the common side effects is sleepiness, so you cannot operate machinery or drive. With each medications, we need to be aware of what are the potential side effects. Yeah. But here in acute pain, what got me interested in all this pain is that, of course, my personal experience of pain, the pain that whether it's physical, the mental, the emotional, and also with the physical pain, have had three wow jaw drop kind of moments, and I'm going to share one of them over here.
Yeah, please do.
But let me ask you, John, when people ask what's the most excruciating pain ever, and if you ask around, what would the standard answer be? I just wonder whether it's the same over there and over here.
My gosh, that's a good question. So,
Mm.
just to clarify the question, what is the biggest pain a lot of people complain about most? Is that what I'm
If we say that this pain, level 10 pain, is the most excruciating pain ever, what
okay?
would be the benchmark that people
Yeah.
say?
The first thing that comes to my mind is a really bad tooth,
Ooh,
like severe tooth pain. That's the first
tooth
one that
pain.
comes to my mind.
Yeah, tooth pain, the kind that you can't eat and you can't work, and then you're just so bothered by it. It's absorbing all your
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah, I would say
Ah,
that.
yeah.
Can I say
Over
a
here,
second one?
yeah, go ahead.
Ear infections. But that's
Perspective
because
of
I
the
experienced those too myself, but I'm not sure if this is the right answer that you want to hear.
Yeah,
But
absolutely, absolutely right answer. We all have our reference points of like
yeah,
what we experience. But the common sort of reply over here
I'm
in
curious to
Malaysia
hear
and
what's the
Singapore,
common? What's the
yeah, the common
common?
is like they would describe, ooh, the pain of childbirth. That is the worst,
I
most
wanted to say
excruciating pain.
that. I wanted to say that, but then I'm like, okay, it doesn't refer to men, but it did cross my mind. Okay,
The thing is that, and this is like common accepted knowledge, right? But what really shocked me is it doesn't have to be, because it's like the perception of pain is right, the anticipation of the pain itself, right, worsens the experience because pain is subjective. What is a 10 over 10 for you might be 8 over 10 or 6 over 10 for a person who have experienced a worse pain. So it's all very subjective, but that perception, that anticipation can increase the suffering from the pain. Okay. And what I've seen is that, that, oh, so when in the medical school, we hear that, oh, the pain starts coming at 3 to 4 centimeters of cervical dilatation. And then this is where you start to give the entonox gas for them, start to offer petidine injections, and then you start to offer epidurals. But then I saw in my journey preparing for the birth of my first child, I saw this lady very calm, very serene, in the zone. And then a doctor comes in and then does a check. Oh, and says that, oh, this is 7 centimeters of dilation. It'll be soon. The labor is going to speed up soon. And then she said, oh, yes, thank you, doctor. I'm like, oh, what's going on over here? And that was my introduction into hypnobirthing. And subsequently, I became a hypnobirthing trainer because I realized that the mind, how powerful it is when it comes to addressing acute pain, is powerful. And that is what I've been using in mindfulness and meditation to help people cope with different types of things. So I want to hear is that when a mom it goes through epidural, what's the scenario that might happen, right? Is that because the epidural it numbs the lower part of the body is given at the spine. Subsequently, when we need to sync our breathing to deliver the baby, there is some inability to do that because there's no sensation. So it's like prolongs the process. So there is a sort of like a side effect of doing this. So that's why we do as far as I can, though I would think that not all physicians have the same idea, is that I will try to minimize where we can and use there are different types of therapy that I can teach that can help acute pain that doesn't involve medications, and being aware of what our mind, being aware of how we think and how we respond is one major component. Yeah.
wow. This is very educational, but at the same time, it's amazing how many layers of practices there is here. Like all these techniques and all these things that one can do aside from medication. It's just
Mm.
awesome.
And interestingly, my son was delivered via hypnobirthing.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
I delivered my son, although it was not a planned one. It's because yeah, we were right next to the hospital, but then I was working in the emergency department, and then my wife when she called me, I said that oh I'll come back soon. But by the time I come back, she's already almost ready. And then when we did a check, oh okay, it's 7 centimeters. And then when I packed up everything, we walked to the door. Suddenly she said that I need to bear down, and then said, "Oh, let's do another examination. Oh, I can see the hair of my baby." It's
Oh,
like
wow.
then I spoke to my wife. There's only two choices here. Do you want to deliver at home, or do you want to deliver in the car? We,
Oh, oh
There's no
my
option.
gosh.
Yeah. And after that, then we moved back to the room. And then my wife has very good foresight. So she prepared a certain equipment, and I turned on the like calming music. And then through a process of being with each other, gently guided her through the process. And it was a very smooth, magical experience to be able to do that. I'm thankful that we are trained in delivery. I've delivered multiple babies, so it was a beautiful experience for us. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. What a journey there. Would you say you were able to, did you, at some point, did you ask your wife afterward what was her level of pain going through this whole process? Or was
Yes,
it
very
no
good
pain at
question.
all?
So when she called me on the phone, she was crying away. And then of course she feels that she needs assistance, and I'm away from the home. And at the same time, she felt a lot of pain. However, upon my arrival and upon being there, everything calmed down.
Ah,
Everything became more manageable. Okay, and my presence, the how we communicate, having that music, is adjusted the environment, and
okay.
then everything became a bit more zen, and the mind calms down, the pain goes down. Yeah. And usually after a delivery, sometimes there is, we call it perineal tears, where you need suturing and everything. Because everything is such a calm and gentle process, there was none of that needed.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's another win for us. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes.
Wow. So you brought a certain calmness to the room as soon as you walked in. And
I would love to believe so. Yeah,
that's
but our vibe and the energy that we bring to a room does change the environment. And that's why I believe we have to be aware of how we affect other people, especially when you're in bad mood. We need to be aware that, you know, of course, we are responsible for our own emotions, but we have to be aware that we are responsible for the energy that we bring to a place. Yeah,
got
that's
it.
definitely,
Got it.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. This was baby boy that
This
was
was
born?
baby boy. Yeah,
Baby
he's
boy.
9 now. He's 9 now.
9. Amazing.
Yes, yes.
Amazing. Do you ever share the story with your
Yes,
children? Yeah.
yes,
Do it.
yes. One of my favorite stories to share with him.
Yeah, for sure. Can I ask regarding this practice,
Sure.
how long did it take you to study this?
For hypnobirthing,
Yes.
it was about maybe 4, 5 months. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And where did you learn this? Was it in the medical industry or
This
was
one
it?
was this hypnobirthing method is by Marie Mongan. It's a UK based training program. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is one of the levels that I got familiar with, going to NLP, going to hypnosis, going into subconscious mind and hypnobirthing. It all adds together, and
Okay.
combined with mindfulness and meditation, it's all about understanding the mind, and it contributes subsequent to later techniques that I developed, which I'm going to share later.
It's amazing. Awesome. I love this. Where do you want to go next? I know
Oh.
there's a whole bunch of other stuff that we can talk about here, but I know, like you said at the beginning, there's so much and you want to emphasize on certain key points.
And I think when we hopped on before, no, before we went live,
Yes.
you did ask about, do people heal from the practices of the medical industry?
Yes.
And I would say that the pain that yes does get better for many common conditions. It does get better and people don't need it long term. But then there will be a certain population who, when the acute phase is over, and we say acute phase, it could be 2 weeks, 6 weeks, and it goes on to chronic pain. And some people carry this pain for months, for even years. Okay. And I carried one form of chronic pain, which is a chronic back pain that was very limiting for me. There are a lot of things I could not do with my kids and became a very painful guilt for me until I found the solution for it. And in the workshop, I will go more in depth about this
Okay.
because the workshop talks about chronic pain. But I just want to share, I talk about a few experiences that made me jaw drop, was that in in the deeper phases of meditation, okay, what I found is that, and in one meditation practice, right, it's called Dhyana, is the meditation of resolute, of meditation of will, where once you get into a position of meditation, you do not move for the next hour. So this
Wow.
is a kind of a different level of mental training that you do, because after a while, for example, if you sit in a lotus posture and you start feeling your hips, you start feeling your knees, you start feeling your lower back, and then the pain will slowly, once the pain catches you, you pay attention to it, you'll just mount higher and higher. But then during one moment where I tried a different technique, then poof, I went into a deeper state of meditation, and that pain, it got cut off by 50%. It's like just suddenly the pain from a score of 8 went to 4. I'm like, oh,
Wow.
where did it go? And I was like, this is powerful. And again, this experience really helped also in the formulation of the things that I did subsequently. And in terms of pain, chronic pain, how I help, one is hypnotherapy, energy work, acupressure, okay, and acupuncture. There are principles of Chinese medicine that come in here, right? And one familiar one that you've probably heard me say before as well, John, is called 通则不痛,不通则痛. It's like when the energy is not flowing, that's where pain comes. When the energy flows, there is no pain. And this becomes the bedrock of a lot of Chinese pain relieving therapies, cupping, guasa, all these things. And sometimes it's about moving that energy. And so I had my own elbow fracture. 3 weeks prior, my boy had the elbow fracture. And what I picked up to help him heal in the process, because his elbow was put in a cast, there's really not much that we can do. And I do not want to keep on feeding him Panadol or painkillers. So at that time, luck would have it that I came across pranic healing, and I had this session with him without him truly knowing, but I was like moving energy, and I shared this on a Facebook post, and then he was reading a book. 10 minutes later, I was asking like, what do you feel over the elbow just now? And he like turned, looked up at me and said, inside the cast, I'm itchy. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. It's not about
That's
itchiness.
not the answer.
What else did you feel? And he said that, just now I felt a little tornado in my elbow.
Oh,
Or I'm like, what I was doing, I was like turning, and then he could actually feel that thing. So I was like, ooh, and kids, right? The words come straight out. They
yeah.
don't filter it. They don't.
No
So it's
filter.
like,
Yeah.
and subsequently, this became helpful for my own fracture.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Oh my God, so many other questions came to my mind here
yes,
as you were sharing all this. So deep meditation
yeah, deep
has a
meditation.
lot to do with the flow of good energy within the body, from what I'm
Yes.
understanding, right?
Yeah, when in states of quiet presence, instead of meditation, we are in a state of coherence. And when we're in a state of coherence, energy flows better. That's one. And the second part to this is about the mind. And then here's where I like to share a recent experience. There's this trainers that I came across. She has chronic pain over both her legs. And it's, from what I understand, it's like more than 4 to 5 years that she's been dealing with it day in, day out, limiting her because it limits her endurance. So when I visited her home, there was this very unusual chair outside the lift landing. I'm like, this is not a common sight. Then she told me that, yeah, I requested it from the governing bodies because I cannot stand longer than 1 minute when I'm waiting for the lift. So she
Wow.
was severely limited by it. And then we went deeper. What's causing this? She said that, oh, she had a fracture some time ago. She was put on cast. And during the casting process, because the blood flow was obstructed, one is the immobilization. Sometimes it's not the fault of the cast as well, but you need to be immobilized, and the blood clots form in her veins, deep vein thrombosis. And this is one contribution for the pain. And on the other side, both sides have pain. After multiple scans, investigations, seen by neurologists, seen by orthopedics, seen by pain experts, they put it down to idiopathic peripheral neuropathy. Idiopathic meaning that we don't know why. So this pain is unexplained. But then here's the kicker. This neurologist said to her that this is your life now. Accept it. In fact, it's going to go up. It's going to go up and all over to your head. You just have to accept that. And I don't know what made that doctor say that, right? But I felt that it came across as one is very impersonal. And we have to be aware of this thing that I often tell people. There's this thing called, most of us has heard of the term placebo effect, where the belief or the faith in the modality or medication actually helps the body gets better, the power of the mind. In terms of nocebo effect, it's when usually a doctor comes and said that there's no cure for this, or in certain cases, you have only 3 months to live. And although that person may have a longer lifespan, but it becomes fixated with that, right? And the whole world like closes in, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And there are things called voodoo death where a person dies because he believes that
Yeah.
he has been under a voodoo curse when there's actually nothing happening. Once again, it tells the power of the mind. So we have to be very careful with our words. Our words have power, definitely. This is what I believe. And so back to this lady. And so she felt so down after hearing that. And it definitely didn't help the condition. How it came to her was her daughter knows that her mom has been undergoing this for so long, tried so many specialists, and then she asked that perhaps I could try. And this was about 2 weeks ago. Then I met her, and this is where combining a lot of the different things. And now the term I call this is quantum trauma transmutation, where it's a psyche-energetic technique where it deals a lot with the brain. Okay. The components are synaptic resculpting, okay, cortical remapping, allostatic reset, and interoceptive training, different things that have been coupled in from my understanding. And through this is the one that you mentioned also, talking to the superconscious mind, there
Yeah.
is that, and it's also the energy portion. And we did 3 different levels. At level 1, the pain score from 4 went to 3. At the second level, it went from 3 to 2. At the third level, it went 2 to 0.
Oh my gosh.
And it went to 0, and then she was like, she started bouncing her legs underneath the table and said that, where did my pain go? Where did my pain go? I've been sitting in the same posture. Where did my pain go? I think she repeated it 6 times. She was like looking underneath the table, trying to find the pain. I was like, yeah. And then after that, she started standing up and started walking around the place. She said, this is like my newfound freedom. I'm going to walk. And she went 3 rounds around the house. And then subsequently, she said, that, oh, let me send you off. Let me send you off. Let's go downstairs. And I felt really fortunate to be able to bring relief in this. And I checked subsequently that this pain relief lasted a minimum of 2 to 3 days after that, where she had no pain. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's what a story. How does the medical industry look at this?
Very good point. And in the medical industry, we talk about evidence-based. We talked about statistics. We talked about numbers. When it comes to pain, right? As we know, we talked about just now, pain is subjective. Okay. My pain of a 6, maybe John, you have a higher pain tolerance, it could be a 2. Okay. And it is a subjective. So when a person experiences pain relief, and there are ways to measure and research subjective, and this is where I'm going to embark on as I gather more and more case studies and to again follow up like how long this will last, what's the second modality that I can add on to help them. And I already have like the next level in preparation for different scenarios that's going to happen. But this is where I'm going to collect the evidence and slowly form a sort of protocol to make it as evidence-based, as scientific as possible. Whereas different pain specialists, they would have now, I'm glad to hear that different pain specialists have slowly taken up acupuncture to help with pain. Because previously, not too long ago, in the hospital I was working in, when I talk about acupuncture, my colleagues would be rolling their eyes and say that, oh, it's just sham therapy, it's placebo, it's whatever. But I'm glad that things are changing, things are shifting. And yeah, I think there is greater acceptance, but I think not fast enough. There are so many people that need it right now, and that's why I came up with these different things to help. And can I share a little bit about this quantum trauma transportation?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
I want to know more about it, to be honest with you, but go ahead, please share.
Yeah. So when it comes to dealing with pain, at one level we have medications. The second level we have counseling, pain counseling. We have cognitive behavioral therapy, and we have also what I also offer, hypnotherapy as well. The thing with counseling, right, it can take months, and sometimes depending on what we are counseling about, and we talk about emotional pain, can take years. Okay, cognitive behavioral therapy, more efficient, few months. Hypnotherapy, weeks. But sometimes when this person has been bearing with pain for so long, right, and they are looking for that solution that can help me get out of this, I've been dealing with this for so long. Quantum trauma transmutation within an hour. Yeah, and I
Wow,
think that's to me that is game changing. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Wow. Now, this practice, where did it originate from? Where does this study start from? Do you know that?
I would say that because this is something I developed,
Oh, you developed it yourself.
how I would put it is like just now I talked about it. Yeah, I developed it myself. Yes.
Oh my
Yeah. Uh,
gosh. Ay, ay, ay.
yeah.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
revolutionary.
Yeah, and it's undergoing a process of refinement, how to make it more efficient, how to take care of, how to make it last even longer. And these are things that I'm using what I understand about the mind, how the nervous system works, techniques, talking to the superconscious mind. There's a lot of components, but initially I just said that it's the superconscious mind because that's as far as I could see it. Then I realized that, oh, as I refine it more and more, I can add in a little bit more of this and it makes it more efficient. I add a little bit more of this, then the effect lasts longer. That's why I call it a psyche energetic technique, dealing with the mind, dealing with the energy, and also dealing with the energy of the person. Yes.
Wow, I'm fascinated. That's awesome. At some point, you're gonna write a book about this. You're gonna go ahead and publicize this. And this is incredible research that you've been doing and putting it into practice. What are your plans with this, if you don't mind me asking? What's the vision behind all this now?
The vision behind it is one is like through the workshop. I what I what I intend to help is for people to be aware what's going on and where they can resolve the pain without reducing the medications, helping them use different methods that can help them feel better, some methods of healing the whole person. That's one. And in terms of QTT, what I like to call it, is that as I refine it further and then as I collect more, making it as scientific as possible, I think there will become a point where it will be ready to become like a certification program so that
Okay.
people can learn this and utilize this so that it can help more people because or not, I'm only one person. There's only so much I can do. But of course, being a physician and medical doctor, I have this responsibility, right? Great power comes great responsibility. And this is something powerful, but I need to make sure that all the peripheries there are guardrails and then take care of everything before it's ready to be massively adopted. Yeah. That
Wow.
is what I have in mind. But as we go along, things may shift. Yeah.
Wow. This is awesome. I applaud you for that.
Yes.
That's really what a breakthrough.
And the interesting thing is that I think early on you asked me that pain, emotional pain, is it just physical? Of course, there's the emotional pain, sadness, grief, frustration, fear. There's also mental pain that most of us have gone through, anxiety, worry, burnout, self-doubt, imposter, all these things that make us stuck where we are. And then sometimes when we don't realize it, when we talk about it earlier, it just comes up again and again in the people that we meet, in the scenarios that we face at work, at home. It becomes like this drag that pulls us down from achieving what we want to do, from doing the things that are necessary, from going towards our goals. And most of the time, it's not apparent. It's not apparent. And the workshop will bring this up to put it into focus so that we can address it. And through the process of awareness, analysis, adaptation, we get to shift things. And the interesting thing about QTT is that it works for emotions. It works for mental conditions as well.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I've taken a
Depression.
person who, yes.
Wow, that is one incredible breakthrough. So people who are depressed or people who are going through really like suicidal thoughts, stuff like this too, you would say?
Suicidal thoughts, I haven't gone there yet. I'm
Okay.
slowly expanding the scope, but then sadness,
Yes.
shame,
Oh, yes.
lack of self-belief, self-doubt, unworthiness, this has been effective.
Wow. And those are
And
big issues
mm,
there.
yes,
Wow.
the issues, people who have been holding things for 12 years, a lady who had a post-traumatic stress disorder after she had a bicycle incident and she felt that she has fear of being on the roads and everything, and she's been holding it for 8 months. And from a score of 7, it went to 1 in 15, 20 minutes. And she felt that, oh, there is a new lease of life.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear more of this in the next couple of months. I would love, Dr. Yu, if you could, if you're up to it in the next little while, when you get
Mm,
more case studies and
mm.
experiences, to come back and to share them with us. I would really like to hear more about that. Would you?
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
would love that. I
Oh,
would
that's
love that.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Just a little bit about those emotional and mental. And I go deeper during the workshop, but I just like a recent thing, right? There was this news article that in Singapore, there was this lady that was murdered, dismembered, and the remains thrown into the river. Okay, why I bring this up, not because I want to bring out all the gory stuff, is that for some reason, my kid's school teacher found it appropriate to share this news article with them. And guess what? My kid could not sleep for the next week because of that mental image, because of how
Wow.
imaginative, creative kids can be, right?
For
It
sure.
affected his for the next whole week. And it's the same as when we see a scary movie, right? We feel the fear. And and let's say this person says, snap out of it, it's just a movie. What is there to be afraid of? It's fake, but why are you not biting your nails? Why are you closing your eyes? When it comes to mental and emotional, although we know that this thing happened before, this trauma happened years ago, we are powerless when it comes to facing it. The what is imaginary and what is real, sometimes our nervous system cannot tell the difference. And this is why emotional problems, mental issues, deep trauma have super overriding and overwhelming effects on our physiology. And it causes issues with our health and through mechanisms that will take some time to explain. But if the audience is interested, do come into the workshop. I go in depth into why this happens, what happens to us, how can we counter this. Yeah. I just want to bring out that things, although intangible, are very real, very much felt, and the suffering can be real.
Oh, that's for sure. I think we can all say that we've all experienced that at one level or the other for sure. Like you said, just a simple example like scary movie and so
Mm.
forth. Yeah,
Yes.
I can relate to that as well. Dr. Yu, this has been an amazing episode. I want to thank you again for being here. Before we let go, I just want to know if you have maybe, aside from the workshop coming up, do you have some final tips that you'd like to maybe share with the audience before we say our goodbyes?
I would say something that hopefully induces hope is that whether it's physical pain, whether it's mental suffering, or emotional traumas, through the process of awareness, analysis, and adaptation, we can shift that and we can transcend that. And in life, situations will happen, circumstances occur that are happening outside our control. So pain, in a way, is inevitable, but suffering can be optional. It's because of how we see those incidences. And this comes from the cultivation of awareness, cultivation of being present, being mindful, being on a spiritual path of understanding why certain things happen at certain times, although it can be very difficult to look through the fog, yeah, for an analogy. And sometimes when that's a situation, don't hesitate to reach out to someone, a John or someone who understands and can see and can offer that helping hand to clear that fog so the path ahead seems will reappear and there's light at the end of the tunnel. And yes, and that would be my parting message is that pain may be inevitable. Suffering can be very much moderated by one, understanding of why certain things happen, understanding the reasons behind the loops and the patterns is because of sometimes about the lessons that we need to learn. And if we don't, the pain is going to keep on reoccurring. And being able to look through the fog will like cut short that suffering from years to months or even weeks. I've been through periods where I was in deep pain for 2 years, and I would wish someone would like extend me the hand and I would be out of it. And that's the reason of why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, helping people with pain and suffering. Because I went through deep pain in so many areas. You've heard stories, John. I'm sure
Yes.
you relate. And this is why I do what I do.
That's amazing. I love it. This is, wow, so refreshing to hear all of this, Dr. Yu. And so the message here is reach out when need to, and there's no need to stay in the suffering, right? Especially when the help is there. And
Mm.
this is amazing. I want to say a big thank you, Dr. Yu. I want to congratulate you again with your studies, all the breakthroughs that you've been having, and this whole new QTT therapy, if you want to call it, and helping people with all these pains is just amazing. You're an incredible young man, and I applaud you, and I have nothing but a lot of admiration for you. And I want to thank you again for being here. Everyone in the community, thank you for showing up here once again. Leave your comments. I will put in your links, Doctor, so that people can get a hold of you and get involved with what you do. And here we are. So till next time, thank you for coming. And Healthy Legend community, I'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with another special live. And we're going to do this again in the near future. So thank you once again. Dr. Yu, before we go, I just want to say I'm going to log off Facebook and then just stay on for a few moments. We're just going to chit chat a minute or two and then we'll call it a night and call it a day. All right. Any last things you want to say?
Thank you, John. It's such an honor to be here with you and your Healthy Legends community. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's stay healthy, fit, and strong, everyone. Love you guys, and we'll see each other tomorrow night. Thank you so much.
We managed to hit all the points.
I think so. I think so. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's yeah, we're all done. I listen, you did an amazing job when you went with your flow and you it was great. It was great. I didn't have to do much. I apologize for the because you did mention it, I believe, in one of the Platts call about the QTT. I for whatever reason I thought it was a new study that you were involving with, and I completely mismanaged that one there. So
Oh,
I apologize, but
oh, what happened? I don't even remember. Sorry.
because I asked you the question like, how did this study come about to
Oh,
learn it and
I
so
see, I
forth?
see.
And
Oh, no
you
worries.
said, no, I created this. I was like, shoot, man, I should have asked you that just to clarify beforehand.
Oh, not at all, not at all.
But what's cool about it? I think it brought a surprise element to everyone. This is fascinating. I'm happy I asked it because now we all know you created it. So this is
Thank
Uh,
you,
This
thank you,
this
thank you,
is
John.
awesome. This was a great episode. My gosh. We went a lot deeper in this one here, I find.
Yeah. I think
Wow.
the previous one was, I think there's a lot to cover when it comes to spirituality as well and energy and everything. But this one, when we limit the topic to pain, we can go much deeper.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the first episode we did was more broad, more general. This was good. I liked it. Wow. What can I say? Whenever you want to come back, if you want to just, like I said, you want to go ahead and do a follow-up with your new research and whatnot, you're welcome to do anytime, Quan Yu. And I
Mhm.
mean that sincerely. This has
Sure.
been
Thank
great,
you.
great, great. Big day up ahead. What does it look like? What does your day look like?
Meetings, planning for the workshop, planning for a physical talk that I'm giving on Saturday. Yeah, client sessions, lots of things coming up, and then I deal with them one-on-one, one by one. Yeah, for you, and what about?
Sorry, we're cutting off here. I don't know if it's my internet. My internet went
Oh,
down
yeah.
today.
What? Oh,
Oh,
I think it's me. Yeah. What about for you?
Oh, my day is coming to an end now. One good thing that's been happening, I don't know, it's about 3 weeks now. I'm actually first time in 40 years of my life that I'm actually
Hmm.
getting to bed between 10 and 10:30 and
Ooh.
falling asleep, Guan Yu. I do wake up a little bit during the night, but I still end up sleeping through the night. I haven't done this in years. Years. Guan Yu, no joke. When I say 40 years of my life has been like craziness. And so it's about 3 to 4 weeks now that I'm able to do that. So I'm pacing myself like now it's 9 o'clock, just tidying up, organizing a few things for tomorrow, and taking a quick shower. And I'm in
Hmm.
bed by 10 o'clock now. In bed by
What
10. And
what brought this 3 weeks ago? Or what was the
I,
magic
I
factor?
yeah, even myself too. I'm actually been questioning this, and I think it's a combination of different things. Like we
Mm,
shared last time, where I made some decisions, right? Clear decisions with the business with myself as well. I had done your workshop. I had done sessions with you, talking. Maybe all of that. I think is like stepping stones towards where I am.
mm,
I mentioned also Karina. I'm in touch with Karina once in a while, and she did this. I don't know what it was. This energy session as well,
mm,
which lasted almost 2 hours. And that just blew me away as well because I
mm,
was like, what is going on? My mind, Kuan Yu, was like, I don't know. I was like in different places. So I don't know. I think it's a combination of different things. I take care of
Mm,
myself physically as well as I can, my workouts and everything. But at the same time, I think it's a combination.
mm.
And decision making, I think, was the start of it. I forget when your
Having that
workshop,
clarity. Mm,
yeah, clarity and decision making. I forget when we had your workshop, but it wasn't long before that, I think, where I did a detox. Like I went
mm,
on a 7, 8 day detox. And I remember
mm,
waking up that morning, I said, I'm done. Just before I started the detox, I said, I can't live this way anymore. I got to change this. So that was the first stepping stone. And then everything else followed with your workshops, with your
mm,
challenge discussions and Karina. And I just keep going. However, I'm going to say this, my body is fighting me.
mm,
What we spoke a lot about tonight, the
mm.
energy flow and all that.
Yeah.
It is fighting me like you have no idea because I made a decision to go forwards. I get these pains in my arm here,
Mm,
in my neck.
mm.
Oh my gosh, my right leg, they call it the sciatic nerve, whatever.
Yep, sciatica, yes.
It's as if I'm going, but something's like, no, stay back.
Mm,
And I'm like, no, I'm going forward. So this is going on. This is
mm,
yeah, the part of me that's fighting.
mm,
But I made my decision. And like I said I talk to myself and I say,
mm.
listen, thank you for the pain. I appreciate this, whatever's going on, but I'm going forwards. So there's nothing else I can tell you. You want to keep doing what you're doing, do it. But I'm going forwards.
Can I add a little bit here?
Oh my gosh, please. A little
Um,
sprinkle. Is that what you say? A little sprinkle?
I have this client who I think you may be familiar, would be not this person, but the idea is that she tried weight loss,
Yeah,
weight comes back, yo
yeah,
yo 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 yo,
yeah,
and the reason is because of a vow that she made as a kid when
wow,
she experienced a trauma
yeah,
that kept her this way. And there is something possibly that you're holding, John, that is causing the pain because now you want to move on, but the body's energy pattern is holding on to a previous pattern and it's not ready to let go. Yeah.
yeah. I
And
feel
yes,
that.
yeah, going into the subconscious and would be a way of clearing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely understand what you're saying there. And
Mm,
that's what I feel when I
mm,
feel like you see it all the time even with friends, right? When you
mm,
have a group of friends that everybody's all has a job, who's married, blah, blah, blah. And then there's one out of the friends who decides to do something else in their lives. And everybody's, no, what are you doing? And you shouldn't be doing that. And it's get all this pulling you back in, pulling you back. So I could relate with that. And yeah, I was thinking about it this week. I was going deep into my thinking and I
mm,
was like, where does my father fit into all this? Where does my certain family members fit in all this? And my
mm,
father kept coming up in my mind. And my dad was always one of the toughest men out there, and it wasn't easy growing up with him, but I recognized that in his crazy ways, it was a way of protecting me. And so somehow that kind of comes back to me from time to time. And so maybe there's some old beliefs there that I have to look into or but yeah, I agree. The subconscious, absolutely. And I do my best to communicate with the higher self, the super conscious mind, and it brings me some kind of, I would say, calmness. I'm not sure if that's the right word. Yeah, but I find it happens during the night when I sleep. The day, like I get moving, I start doing my stuff, but then it's like when I get to bed, maybe that's what wakes me up. But listen, I'm working on it. I'm going forwards on it. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now, for sure.
I think you are on a great forward momentum and would love to see you keep that up. Amazing.
Oh, guaranteed. I made the decision, like I said. And there's a lot happening in Platts as well, especially
Mm,
with last week with the groups and all that stuff. I didn't request it, but I became the leader in my group,
mm,
which was all right, nice. I like that. So it pushed me to do a few extra things this week there as well.
mm.
But we'll definitely be in touch, first of all, for another episode coming up. And we will work together in the near future, Yu. We definitely will. And if
Good.
any sprinkle
Looking
magic,
forward to that.
yeah, you could sprinkle on me at any time. I'll take it. Yeah, there you go. Listen, thank you again. This was great, and I'm sure send me your links, so workshop links, whatever it is that
Um,
you want me to
let,
post.
let me, okay, this is the workshop link for next week.
Okay, great. So let me document this right away. Okay, copy. Okay, okay, and I'll go ahead and put in the other links that you gave me last time. Or is there anything you want to send here now? Like your
Um,
Facebook group, your profile?
oh, I guess the profile and yeah, I think the profile will be good. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'll put that as well.
Yeah.
You do have a group in there too, I think.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I'll try to tag all that together for you.
Okay. Thank you,
Sounds
John.
great.
Yep.
You're a good man. Enjoy your day,
Okay.
and
Enjoy
we'll
your
talk
evening.
real soon. Yes, coming to an
Okay.
end. All the best when you
You
end.
too. Bye.
Ciao. Bye bye.